first, I'll introduce Casey Sullivan. He's Bloomberg's Senior Editorial Director for its Big Law Business Property. And then our two speakers today are Laurie Robinson Haden, forgive me, Senior VP and the Assistant GC of the CBS Corporation, as well as Michael Caplan, COO of Goodwin Procter. So Casey, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So let's just jump right into this. We have 20 minutes. We'll be covering valuing legal services, so we'll be covering anything from pricing, discounting, how in-house attorneys are overseeing different legal matters. The first question is, clearly there's a greater need among in-house counsel for predictability since the recession. That's changed how law firms operate. Both of you, how have you seen your role change in the law firm-client relationship in light of all of that?
I'll let you start.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. So that's a good question. I think I bring a pretty unique perspective on that, because before joining Goodwin Procter as their Global Chief Operating Officer, I was on the client side as the Chief Operating Officer of the legal department of Goldman Sachs for a number of years, and then also at Marsh McLennan. So coming to Goodwin, I used to be the one that managed all of outside counsel spend and was the one that really, was hard on the law firms, and now here I am working for a law firm. Go figure. So, but at the end of the day, I think bringing the client perspective to a law firm today is very important. It's critical because besides the predictability of fees that clients are very interested in, and being an ex-client, I understand how that plays into the whole budgeting concept. But alternative fee arrangements and the ability to manage pricing and partner with clients so you're investing in their risk is really important. So as the Chief Operating Officer, I have a pricing team, and I also work very closely with our business development team. And as we partner with our clients across multiple industries and multiple business units, such as whether it's a litigation matter or it's a specific transaction, a middle market M&A, a funds and real estate capital market, we work very closely on working with clients to say, okay, besides our billable hour and besides a discount, let's talk about this as a project. What's the client going to work on? What are we going to work on? How do we establish leverage? If a partner is going to be part of the process, what do you want the partner to do? If we have an associate, paralegal, et cetera, how do we build the leverage and the model and build that into the pricing? The other thing that we're very focused on at Goodwin, which is, I think, pretty unique to a law firm, is we're very open with our clients as we do these types of pricing arrangements, what our realization is and what our profitability is going to be. Law firms used to really push away from that. Used to get the Heisman if you asked a law firm, can you share your profitability with me on this matter? And what that does is it gives us the ability for the client to understand that as we build institutional knowledge on recurring matters and we begin to build real partnership and we're investing in the relationship, by us sharing realization and profitability, there will be times where we're going to take less profit and make investments, and there are going to be time on high risk certain matters where the client's going to want to pay a bonus. So the more open we are, the more forthcoming we are about pricing, there is predictability, but it creates relationships and partnership.
And what I would add is I agreed with everything that you said. But when we talk about value and the way that our law firms can add value to our legal matters that they're handling, we focus on diversity as well. The staffing of our cases with diverse outside counsel, that's critical to us at CBS. As many of you know, there's several benefits of using diverse attorneys on your legal matters. Number one, it gives you an opportunity to have different people on your team, so you're getting different perspectives. Those different perspectives translate into providing a more enhanced legal strategy. In addition, when you have a case that may be going to trial, your jury pool may likely be diverse. So it makes sense that you would have diverse attorneys involved in the case strategy, in addition to having people who are at the actual jury trial, where the people in the jury pool are looking, watching, processing, and assessing and making a determination based on your case. And diversity is the right thing to do.
So Laurie, I think you bring up another good point. So, as a law firm, diversity is brought up all the time. Mm-hmm. So, at Goodwin, it's very interesting for us because we're very focused on diversity and inclusion. So what we've really spent a lot of time working on with our partners and our staff it's not just necessarily hiring diverse attorneys. And that means whether it's people of color, it's GLBT, it's any specific protected class that falls into a diverse area. It's about inclusion as well. And I could tell you as an ex-client, when we used to have law firms come in and pitch, it was very obvious when you're at a client that's a very diverse and inclusive group, when a law firm would come in and pitch, and you could just tell they would bring people for the pitch.
Right.
Which is very, you figure it out very quickly, because part of what you have to do when you're pitching business and business development is you have to show these are the people that are going to be doing the work. And the inclusive aspect of diversity, so diversity and inclusion is something that as a law firm, you have to think about very strategically, to your point, on staffing matters, on doing professional development and training, on making sure that your partners of the firm are pitching diversity and inclusion at the same time they're pitching the business. So, our chairman at Goodwin Procter, he actually leads the diversity and inclusion group. It's interesting. I think we're the only AmLaw 50 firm that has a chairman. He used to be an ex-police officer. So it's, he really believes strongly in diversity and inclusion, and it's actually played very well to that, everything you've just stated.
And I'll just add one sentence to what you said.
Yep.
It might be more than one sentence. But at CBS, we started a diversity committee for our law department maybe about 6 years ago. And we created something called a new matter form. So anytime we engage outside counsel on any new matter, they are required to fill out this form, and one of the categories that we have relates to diversity. Will we have this matter staffed with diversity, and if so, who will likely be on the case? But importantly, to your point, we also track those matter forms. We have a committee. Every month we pull up the statistics to see, what's the utilization looking like. And our company impresses upon the lawyers who are handling the legal matters, ensure that you're looking at the hours so that the people who pitch, you're looking to make sure that they're actually working on the case.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, how do you use data when you're looking at different cases? Big data has been something that has been talked about a lot in the media, but it's kind of difficult to get a sense of what's actually working, what's not working. How do you use it?
Well, how do we not use it is the question. I think data is critical for us as a law firm to evaluate multiple areas of our success. Besides the traditional financial metrics and financial analytics that we're looking at as a law firm, which is revenue and profitability and profits per partner and revenue per lawyer and everything that comes along with your success as a law firm and how you compare with your peers. We look at data around our clients' success. What we've learned at a law firm, and I could tell you again as an ex-client, is our clients have as much, if not more, data than we have today. And we've seen a real shift in that in the last 3 years. Clients have electronic billing. Clients have matter management. Clients ask every law firm you can only bill with the attorneys that are in our system with these specific rates or these specific discounts. We're going to look at leverage. We're going to build analytics on a matter-by-matter basis. So as a law firm, when you start to look at not only how you evaluate matters based on specific information, such as how long does it take to get through a deposition, if we're going to do a summary judgment or a motion to dismiss, how do we go to a client and try to price that? How do we invest in the client's risk? So we'll give you a 50% discount, but if we get it dismissed, we'd like to get 100% of the fees as a bonus. Well, we have data to show why that works, and we also have data to show why that investment works from a client perspective. On the flip side, we use a lot of data ourselves to make sure that we are investing in the right technology, that we're moving to a mobile platform, that we're becoming very focused on data privacy and data security. Data privacy and data security and cybersecurity, if you haven't been reading the papers lately, it's kind of important to a law firm these days. We have multiple public companies, multiple banks and financial institutions that audit our technology and our systems all the time. So we need to have information around our data privacy and data security of our client information to show that it's secure, it's intact. So we use data to look at our own metrics. We look at data to look at our client analytics. We look at data to look at our matters. We look at data to look at our people. And then we also look at data to ensure that what we're building from a technological and innovative perspective is not only in front of what other law firms are doing, but we're trying to be as proactive and as innovative as we can. So we invest a lot of money in that.
I would imagine that when you're looking at the numbers, you can see how you would inform your legal strategy around a particular case in terms of, what's the client benefit and what's the law firm benefit. How do you manage that?
Well, hopefully everything we do is a client benefit, right? I mean, that's kind of the business we're in. Our strategy of the case, again, what we've done is we have business units, and we have specific business units for private equity, or business units for real estate, or tech and life sciences, or IP, or specific litigation on the specialty side. And what we have is we have key relationship partners and relationships with clients. What we've also done is we're very focused, something that I've brought through a program management office to Goodwin, is we want to bring the business of law and the practice of law together. So we want the lawyers to be lawyers, and we want our operations and our professional staff to manage the business of law. So I'll give you an example. A lot of the investments we've made in clients, we help clients with their outside counsel billing guidelines. If they're going to invest in an e-billing or matter management provider, we help them with the RFP because we know all the providers. We know who the people are. We save them hundreds of thousands of dollars on technology expenses. We help them with their discovery services. We do this all for free. It's all about the client being satisfied, and it's all about the client showing that we're invested in the partnership, because we know that we're not going to get a big litigation right away, but if we can invest operationally in the business of law and helping the client be successful with specific data points, they'll look to us. They'll think about us. We're working with the business component of our firm in a way that law firms have not done that in the past, and our lawyers are working on the practice of law in the way that they've traditionally done that, because lawyers don't want to do this part, so we're happy to do this. But what we find now is most clients today have chief operating officers and technology people and financial people and people that are looking to invest in technology and be innovative. So why not come to a law firm to ask for support and help in that? We're more than happy to provide it, because what it does is again, we're investing in risk, and it's building the partnership. If you look at the traditional sales model of a law firm, on average, it's 12 touches till you get a matter, any matter. And a lot of lawyers, after the second or third touch in a law firm, go, oh my God, I've had lunch with this person 3 times, they haven't called me and I give up. Well, that's the wrong approach. The approach should be, how can I help this client even if I'm not getting legal work? So their success and our success are tied to the business of law and practice of law working together throughout the life of the relationship. So when that 12th touch hits and we get the matter, hopefully it has to do with some of the work we've done on the operational side.
Laurie, you've spoken about the early case assessment process. Can you talk about how that helps you in terms of predictability and gauging how a matter is going to go?
Yes, what we utilize at CBS is the early case assessment. It's a part of our outside counsel policy. And the early case assessment is very beneficial to our company in that we are able to manage the legal spend. We have a template that we provide to the outside counsel, and we ask them to figure out and tell us who's going to be on our case, how many people will be staffed on the case, what will be the legal strategy that you're going to use to get us from A to Z, and then the important piece, let's talk about the pricing. How much will you be projecting to spend through summary judgment? And then after summary judgment, if we go to trial, how much are you projecting trial will cost? And if trial is not successful, how much are you anticipating the appeal will be? And I think what's great about the early case assessment is it takes the surprise out of it. You know already in advance, ahead of time, what the plan of action will be. You know, speaking to your point, Michael, you should know what the trends are with respect to the type of cases that you have if you're in-house, and you will be able to know that if someone says, you know, we're projecting it's going to cost $20,000 to put together an answer in a single plaintiff employment case, you know based on your trends that in typical cases, that may only cost $5,000. So when they lay out to you their plan of action, how many depositions they're planning to take, you can talk to them about the strategy. You can help to talk to them in advance about reducing the costs and working in discounts if needed and flat fees for some of the tasks. And I just think it's an effective tool. And once you get your early case assessment, you don't stop there. One of the things that I like to do when I'm working with outside counsel, I like to circle with them each quarter. You know, after Q1, you know, what are we planning for Q2? What are you envisioning the tasks will be? What do you envision the legal spend will be? And then I can go back to that early case assessment to see where we are and what they projected initially to where they're planning to go, and we can make some adjustments if need be. And I think just as important with the early case assessment, once you know what the strategy is, you can also make the determination if alternative dispute resolution is something that you should look at before you start incurring your cost in discovery.
You know, that's another good point. So as a law firm, we love that, right? You want to, I think everyone who's a client, you should whether it's an early case assessment or it's any type of RFP that you're giving out to a law firm for any type of litigation matter, for example, you should ask for that specific information. And here's why. First of all, the litigation landscape has changed dramatically over the last 3 years. The revenue in a law firm on the litigation side, besides some premier law firms that focus on litigation, it has changed. Organizations are hiring more litigators. Organizations are hiring more junior attorneys to do some of the junior work. They don't just call the law firm and say, handle the entire litigation. What you also get is you get a lot of free legal advice. You get to see 5 or 6 early case assessment sheets come in from 5 law firms, and they may have 3 or 4 different strategies that helps you think about that internally. And then finally, what it really does for a law firm is it actually sets the bar and the platform, not only about how you're going to strategize on this, but it gets you in contact with the client to make sure the client's thinking about this the same way you are. So you're not at a disconnect. I love the idea about the quarterly meetings. One of the things that I think law firms should be more focused on is handling matters as a project, the whole project management focus. You know, whether it's a technology project or a legal matter, you have to have communication, you have to have integrity, you have to have certain start and end dates, there's cost involved, there's risk, and you have to be able to have those conversations. Because too many times as a law firm and too many times when I was on the client side, you get that phone call as a client, you know, I know we said it was going to cost us X, but it's 4 multiples of X, and we never had a conversation about it. And it's really important to continue that dialogue. And one thing that we're very focused on at Goodwin, and I think a lot of law firms are focused on today, is ongoing continued dialogue. And that template is the start of that process. I think that's great.
So we've spoken a bit about the law firm-client relationship, but Mike, within the law firm itself, you know, I would imagine that just, you know, the whole idea of business managers overseeing practicing lawyers who have high egos, and, you know, how do you manage that tension in terms of, like, you know, the operations department telling the lawyers what to do?
Wow, you said high egos. I never heard of that before. I mean, that's him talking. That's not me. All right, so I think it's really important for law firms today to understand the value of operations. You know, so if you look at my job, you know, if we have over 400 professional staff at Goodwin Procter, and we're a pretty profitable firm. The professional staff from IT to finance to business development, marketing, communications, HR, pro bono, diversity and inclusion, et cetera, what we've really tried to focus on, again, back to the business of law and practice of law, is everything goes back to the client relationship. Everything goes back to how can we best work with our clients. And relationships, for example, you know, coming from a corporate background and bringing the client perspective, the relationships that I have in the industry, I may not be the lawyer, which, by the way, selling legal services as a non-lawyer is great because you don't have to do the work. You just have to get the right people to the table. All right, but when you get them to the table, my job is to not only manage the relationship, but my job is to make sure that our lawyers are providing proactive information around pricing, proactive information around operations, proactive information about diversity and inclusion, proactive information about specific conferences and events and panels where we could partner, inviting them to certain activities. Here's the other thing that clients love to hear, okay? No client wants to just have an outside counsel at $500 an hour plus that just says yes to everything. You want to be able to have outside counsel if there's a differing opinion, if there's a differing way of doing things that is proactive enough to say, I have a different thought on this, let's have a conversation. And then you also want to have outside counsel that has a staff that can provide information to clients on things in the industry and things that they're reading, what our marketing research team does about that client that could be useful to them, because that makes them look good. So what law firms today and the high egos of the partners have to realize is there's real value in having the business people in your law firm add to the client experience. And as you continue to do that more, not only do you continue to maintain the relationship with the client, but you get paid faster. You don't fight on the bills as much. And that is it's a little bit of a longer term outcome, but it helps tremendously when you've been a really good investor with a client and it's your fiscal year end and you need a check. It helps a lot. And that's part of how we're successful as a law firm.
Laurie, what are some of the most innovative techniques that you've seen in-house law departments use in this regard?
We have an organization, Corporate Counsel Women of Color, and it brings together lawyers from, Fortune 500 companies. And when we talk about at the conference ways to get control of outside counsel legal spend, I know you don't like that topic the way I just phrased it, but when we come together, we just hear about what different people are doing. So for example, Halliburton, they have a huge alternative dispute resolution program that they launched several years ago. And a part of their program, I'll just give you a quick snapshot, is that they encourage their employees to come through the ADR program. I believe that they offer employees, if they utilize the Halliburton ADR program, they will pay their legal fees up to a certain amount. And when they first launched the program, they cut their legal spend significantly because the ADR program enabled them to keep a lot of the cases from getting to the point of litigation. Another company that, for example, they're presenting this year is Google. They're going to come and talk to us about the strategy behind cost savings in terms of how do you move your e-discovery, you're not going to like this either, from the law firms in-house.
That's happened.
Okay. So for those of us who, we're just listening and learning about what other people they're doing, I think the consensus is a lot of that legal fee spend can go toward the e-discovery piece. I mean, even if you can bring some of it in-house, and you mentioned it earlier, utilizing other staff members on the legal team to do that type of work, our bottom line is we want to add value to our business clients. And some of these strategies that other companies are utilizing, we can benchmark and we can share and collaborate and just add value as lawyers.
Just on the e-discovery piece, you bring up a good point about back to the business manager piece. Mm-hmm. So a lot of clients and corporate legal departments today in their outside counsel billing guidelines, they say these are your preferred vendors, mm-hmm. whether it's discovery, it's court reporting, et cetera. So on the law firm side, what we've done is we have our preferred vendors as well, that we've negotiated pennies on the dollar, for example, for document review or e-discovery services or mock trials or court reporting, et cetera. So when we work with clients, obviously if a client has that, we'll take their specific vendor, but a lot of clients don't have that. And if you get out of the big public company and the banking and financial institutions and you do a lot of middle market work or private company work like we do, clients a lot of times will say, I'm going to give this to you and I'd like all the discovery. We're like, well, no, don't give it to us. We have a vendor that has an onshore offshore capability that's going to cost you 5 cents on the dollar what you would have been paying us. And we have found that, again, and similar to operational support, ask your law firms about their vendor negotiated deals. Because you may even find it's better than what you have. And that could do two things. You can use that vendor and try it out, or you could go back to your vendor and say, why am I getting a better deal from this vendor? You need to match that. So it helps tremendously. Again, the real message here is partner with your law firms on these types of questions because we want to help any way we can. And from an operational vendor perspective, that will save you money as well.
Well, it looks like we're just out of time, that our 20 minutes has expired. But thank you very much for
Thank you for having
going
us.
over that with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.